I just installed this fancy programmable thermostat, and when I took the old one off, and don't get excited, it wasn't one of those Honeywell Mercury ones. It was just a cheapo digital one. But anyway, when I took the old one off, all these little chunks of plaster came with it, and there they are. You see, I have the joy of owning a home that has a fairly expensive type of drywall installed. What they did is they installed the drywall, and of course they tape and mud the seams, but they also skim coat the entire wall with plaster because it costs more, I guess. I don't know. The side effect of that is whenever you're hanging pictures or drilling a hole to install something like a shelf or installing even a simple thermostat, you've got chunks of plaster that flake off, and you've got to be wise to that fact and plan accordingly. I think I hear a UPS truck. I hope it's for me because I'm expecting some stuff. No, it's probably not for me. Let's see. No, it's not for me. Yeah, here's my entertainment system, amplifier and all that stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I ended up putting in a soundbar here because it's just easier to install. I didn't want to run wires, so everything's wireless. But yeah, anyway, these walls are a nightmare, and I don't know what the hell happened here, but I didn't think to fix this when I painted, but maybe in another lifetime I'll fix all this. But that's not the reason for the video. I got this clock here. This came with the house. It was in the basement. I don't know who it belonged to, whether it was one of the renters, because it was rented out several times over the past couple of years, or if this was originally on that mantle right there. This is a very typical Seth Thomas mantle clock. It's missing a hand. It's in really bad shape. This clock is not worth restoring. Even in working condition, these mantle clocks really aren't worth much. But let's take a close look at it and see what we're dealing with. I mean, I've got one already that works great. I've got a 1936 Seth Thomas. Actually made... Oh, it wound down. This one needs a spring job like there's no tomorrow. But it stopped at 5 o'clock. It would have stopped either this morning or today. Or just a little while ago. I'm not really sure. But anyway. Yeah, this clock here is a very similar clock. Probably uses all the same internals. Let's take this off the mantle and compare the two. Here's a key. I'm gonna need that. Let's see here. But yeah, this excuse me. Oh, the key on my mouth. So this particular clock was manufactured under contract for a company called Tilden Thurber. And that company was based out of, I believe, Providence, Rhode Island. And there's a very interesting historical connection here. The company, it's like a kind of think of it like a Rhode Island version of Tiffany's. Tilden Thurber sold luxury goods, decorative items, and stuff like that. And one of their patrons was a certain Ms. Lizzie Borden. So, let me turn this camera light on so we can get a better look at it. There we go. Yeah, so this clock, yeah, it should still, this is an 8-day clock. It should still be running, but I wound it up on Saturday, last Saturday. Today is Friday evening. And it has died. So I'll have to do some spring work on this one, pretty bad. Let's take a look at this one here. Now I haven't looked at this clock at all. I don't know anything about it. Let's open it up. So what we're dealing with here is essentially the exact same mechanism, actually identical. Yeah, it is identical, probably from the same time period. It has the same single note chime. Just a different case. Same mechanism, different case. So if nothing else, it could make a great parts clock. Doesn't even appear to be all that corroded, but look at this spring right here. Now that's going to be the, I believe that's my chime spring. and it's wound tighter than needs to be. Let's we're missing a second hand. See if it'll even. Let's take the pendulum out, and we'll see if she can run on her own power. Nice pendulum. It should be able to wind down. Okay. This one actually sounds nicer. This one's a much softer, but that could all be changed just by swapping out the clapper or making some minor adjustments to it. But yeah, she doesn't want to run. And that spring has some tension to it, so maybe it's got the same problem that the Tilden Thurber has. Let's see. We've got a key for it. Oh wait, look what we got here. Never reach your hand into a clock of unknown or any condition, especially if it's spring-driven. Look at this. There's the key. Is there a hand in there too? Give me a hand. Somebody. This is another key. It's a triangular key. But we're missing the hand, and this thing's got mold in it too. Cool is that? It's a very nice key. I don't know what this is for. Triangular. Oh wait, no, it's square. Must be for. Could be for. I mean, who knows? They could have had multiple clocks, and they just threw the key in there. So we know it chimes. We know the chime train works. We are missing a hand. We got the hour hand. The minute hand is broken. You can see where it used to be. Let's wind it up. It's going to be this one. I bet it runs. Oops. Drop the pendulum. Let's give it a good wind. It's possible that it could be bound up on the chime train, so it could be trying to engage the chime lever and it's too tight. Because that does look almost overwound to me. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. So it probably does need lubrication. Let's relieve some of the chime tension. Oh man, this thing smells like basement. So this has what's called a half hour and an hourly chime. So there's your half hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it looks like somebody had oiled it very recently. I mean, the oil divots they're pretty well addressed. It doesn't really mean anything, but yeah, she just doesn't want to run. Because it should, if I take the pendulum off this one, you know, it should just run free. Come on. Like that. Or not. Well, this one has spring issues. So anyway, it looks like, you know, it's possible that they could both have the same problem. Now, spring clocks are not something that I am comfortable working on. Yes, I have my limits. I will never take apart a spring-driven clock. Why? Well, I don't have the proper tools, and the stakes are very high with a spring-driven clock. I mean, if that spring lets go, it can cause lacerations, eye injuries, you name it. It's not going to kill you, but you will definitely, best case scenario, need some form of medical attention. I am not comfortable working on spring clocks. So this thing is probably going to wind up as a parts machine for this one. If I ever get... This one here came from a dear friend of mine, and I'm not ever getting rid of it. But this one here, I could really care less about. I paid money for the house, not for the stuff inside. So anything that I find in the house that I can do anything with is kind of a bonus. But little neat feature that these clocks have is you can clip the pendulum into the pendulum arm or shaft, whatever the hell this thing's called. You can clip it right to the mechanism so it doesn't run if you don't want it to. But there's that. Let's put the pendulum on and see if that helps. But normally on a well-oiled and well-tuned clock, it should just run down. Oops. Let's see if she continues. Under her own power. Nope. Dying. Dead. Okay. Now, one little trick you can do, if you've got one of these clocks and you just want to see if it runs, I don't recommend this, but some people have done this. You can spray WD-40 into the mechanism, and it'll loosen up any oil, and it'll run for a little while, but not for long, and you still have to take it apart to clean it and oil it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's take it apart. Let's take the mechanism out and oil it and see if it does anything. But before we do, let's see if we can't find the year of manufacture. Seth Thomas clocks have a date code, usually stamped on the bottom, and I don't see one on this clock or even a trace of it. Sometimes you can find the labels on the inside of the door. This one used to have a label on it, but it doesn't anymore. As a matter of fact, on this one I think there is a code on the bottom. Actually, yes, there is. It's handwritten in pencil, though, and I forget. But I did determine that this one was made sometime in 1936. Now, this one is, again, very similar, but I don't see the label anywhere on it. At all, or even pencil marks. Usually it's stamped in ink. I've seen them in red. But all right. So what we're going to do is we're not going to take the whole clock apart. Like I said, with spring-driven clocks, I don't do that. I just don't do that. What we are going to do is take the we're going to take this taper pin off. I'm going to use some tools. Have this. I'm going to grab a screwdriver as well. We'll take the mechanism out fully wound, but we're not going to take the mechanism apart because I don't want to die today. So there is a proper way to let them down completely, and even then the springs are still objects at rest that desperately want to be in motion. So there is a good and a bad way to remove the springs. And I'll take this taper pin. I need a taper pin for that one. I've been using a phonograph needle, which doesn't taper at all, and that's not a good thing. So I'm going to take the hour hand off. That's a good hour hand. Is it the same one that's in this clock? Let's take a look. Oh no, because this one has the fancy South Thomas hands, but yeah, okay. So, is that the same brass? Yeah, it's the same dial ring. Same basic dial, actually. Same size. They're almost completely interchangeable, except for this one has custom Tilden Thurber printing on it. But anyway, let's get it face down. This would make a great prop for like a Halloween thing. Now I think I have to remove the chime. Yeah, so more adventures in home ownership. So I had this door working just fine, but you had to kind of lift this end up a little bit so that the door doesn't cock over to the side. And I was able to, I got it working so you could actually use the door if you needed to. In fact, my roofer put all of his stuff in here. Thanks. Now I can't get my freaking car in here. But anyway, so check this out. Now this happened. So this was working just fine, and now, well, let's just wait and see. Yeah, that happened. So now the limit switch is broken. So now I have to fix that now. So you know what? This is kind of more important than this stupid clock. So let's mess with this clock real quick. I swear to God, I can't win for losing. I just went out to the garage to grab a screwdriver. That's what brought that on. I remember him vaguely telling me something in a text about the garage door. Well, now I know what he meant. So the good news is I just received a fairly decent sized check from my previous lender, the company that I had financed my condo through. My escrow balance was a little bit bigger than I had anticipated. So with that check, it looks like I'm buying a new garage door. Probably going to place the order today because I kind of need that door to work, and I don't want to be dicking around with a stupid garage door opener all winter. So the only car that's actually going in that garage, by the way, is the Miata, which I'm currently paying a couple $100 a month to store. And you know, just as things go, I know I'm complaining of problems that aren't really problems, but I'm not really complaining either, so got you there. Just kind of dealing. This is a really cool looking. Now if this spring lets go, let's say there's some critical, wow, this is in really good shape. I mean, I don't know how good the pivots are in this thing or the bearings, but it doesn't look that bad. That one right there was a nightmare. I mean, this one is 170 years old, but when I took this one down and rebuilt it, I mean, we had to rebush the entire clock. It was that bad. This one looks like it'll run with just a little bit of provocation. Very little, actually. So this one should be taken apart, of course, as anyone who fixes clocks for a hobby or even for a living would know, and I know. I don't do this. This is not even really a hobby of mine. It's more of a passing interest. But it's in pretty good shape. I mean, there's not a lot of... It's kind of hard to tell without tearing into it, but... I mean, a little bit of slop here, but not... Doesn't seem to be excessive. Everything is meshing nicely. This one's definitely under a load. Now, if I take the pendulum off, or take that out, in theory, it should just wind down on its own volition. But it doesn't even seem to want to run. So let's do this. Let's get some clock oil and go through it. Now, you real horologists are going to yell and scream and holler at me for this, for what I'm about to do. But that's all right. I really don't give a damn. But what I'm doing here is I'm just going to put a small, just enough oil in these pivots to kind of, not fill, but these little cups here, these are what help guide the oil down the pin, thus lubricating the bearing. So you just need just a tiny, I think I might have already oiled these ones. You just need a tiny amount of oil. That's all you need. Nothing too drastic, because you don't want to over oil the clock. Because over oiling the clock, which is what I'm doing, it is a little more oil than I need, I think. But when you over oil a clock, it becomes prone to dust infiltration. And I almost missed one there. There we go. Now this is clock oil. It was sold to me as clock oil, and it's I forget what the exact weight is, but it's a very light, very clean oil. I believe it might even be synthetic. And yeah, we don't want to go too far. We don't want to put too much oil in there. In fact, we don't even want to do whatever I do, guys, because I know I'm going to get butchered in the comments boxes, or box on this one. Don't do what I'm doing. Just enjoy the entertainment value here, okay? Just don't do anything that I'm doing here, because it's all wrong. I know it. I just want to make sure that my viewers know it. That's all. So we're just going to oil all these pivots. Again, you don't want to use too much oil, because that is worse than no oil at all. Of course, there may be some validity to that statement. Yes, I believe you can just simply dunk the whole thing into an ultrasonic tank without disassembling it, but ultimately it should be completely disassembled. I mean, there's just no way around it. This is not a valuable clock by any stretch. Actually, it's quite worthless, even in working condition, as I said earlier. These old Mantle clocks they're a dime a dozen, and unless they're fully restored, really, they're just not worth anything. And that's the sad reality of these little Mantle clocks. The good thing about these old Seth Thomas clocks, though, is it doesn't usually take much to get them going. They're pretty well made anyway. But this one is being a... Oh, it wants to. It wants to go now. It actually wants to run. All right. Let's toss a pendulum on it and see if that keeps it going. It wants to run, though. It definitely wants to run, and I might have to lubricate I think I have to lubricate the pinions on the gears. These are supposed to roll freely, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, it could have also had some unsuccessful repair attempts in its life. That is also a possibility. But let's put a pendulum on it and see if she runs. Damn you, curved table edge. Yeah. The pendulum seems to be bent, or it's just not level enough. In order for these to run, they have to be level. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think this is a little... This here is bent. Definitely bent. If you look at where the escapement teeth disengage or engage, look at how far out it has to go. Look at that. That's quite a travel. And then you go this way and nothing happens. So we have a problem where this is bent or deformed in such a way that, see, look at this, see how this is twisted right here? It's definitely out of adjustment, and by a lot. All I did was I tweaked that shaft right there over a little bit. What that did is it allowed the escapement to disengage at this point here, or a little sooner. Now all it wants to do is run. And it's, if you listen to it carefully, it has a nice even cadence, and that's what you want. But yeah, it wants to run now. Very much so. I think I'm going to tweak it just a little bit more. Now once you get it on a level surface, you'll kind of get a better understanding of what's going on there. Yeah. I think with a pendulum on it, it'll do much better. Maybe just a few more tweaks. I'm going to let it run down. Let's see how long it goes. It should go about 8 days, like that. We'll clean up the... I'm going to make this thing run again. You know what? I'm going to fix this freaking clock. That's going to be my life's work now. I'm going to fix this clock. I'm going to clean it up. Get a couple of hands for it. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Polish up the dial. That is a nice mechanism, though. It is in pretty good shape. I was expecting it to be corroded to all hell, but it turns out it isn't. Actually sounds pretty good. Just a few tweaks here and there will make it perfect. Get the speed correct. Yeah. Now, as soon as it strikes, it's probably going to knock itself off the bench here, or the shelf. Ooh, must be ready to engage. Yeah, it is. It's ready to let loose. Yeah. So it must be at like the either half hour or 12 o'clock position. So it's locking up the taking over the chime train. So let's let it sit there for a bit and see what happens. Looks like my paint just dried completely, and now I can clean this up and call that done. Check it off my list. I've got a big list. I do have to repaint this wall. If you look, I don't know what happened here, but my sister came over and helped me paint, and I appreciate it, but sometimes. Little Rosie, she's moved in. She's not doing well. She's not healthy. She's sick. I think what happened to her is the constant changes in environment have taken a toll on her poor little froggy body, and not much I can do for her at this point other than hope she gets better. If not, she's going to be croaking in God's pond soon. In fact, I came home the other night and I thought she had died, and actually she was floating kind of in her usual spot, but she was rotated upside down, so her eyes were facing south, which is basically, for frogs, that's dead. And so I poked her a little bit with my finger, and she didn't do anything, and I grabbed her with the net. That's why it's out here. And I had her in the net. I picked her out of the water, and I'm carrying her across the floor. And right about this point here, all of a sudden, her little hand started moving, and she woke up from whatever it was that was... So, I don't know. I don't know what to do with you, little girl. You can see she's shedding a little bit. That's not a good thing. Not when it's going on for a couple of days like that. So she's very sick. She may not make it the week. I thought she was going to be dead yesterday, but she wasn't dead. Now, where's my ladder? I think we can fix one more thing tonight before I settle in and start working on my basement room. Okay. So this little doohickey, there's a limit switch somewhere that tells the motor when to stop. And that's all done via a micro switch that if the switch is broken, missing, or damaged, it won't work. Now, this thing is also being powered by this thin little, look at this, look what they got going on here. How cool is that? Or sad. Now this is a removable module, I believe, for the remote. So let me move my ladder back. I'm really tempted to just go and order a new door, but I want to make this one work because it's just a matter of pride for me at this point. This garage door, oh, here's the switch. So, yeah, that's it right there. So let's trigger it. The screwdriver. Okay, here we go. This should be my trigger. All right, here we go. Lights on. It goes all the way out. So, there's that roller. Huh. Oh, I see. I'm gonna have to get a bigger ladder, but this, wow. Yeah, here we go. Here's the problem. So that broke off this little thing here. Nobody press that button, okay? This broke off. It's one of, yeah, I can fix that. Watch me. Or clips on. I think it just clips on. That's all. It's actually, it's totally fixable. Actually, very easily. Let's fix it, shall we? So here's what I need to do. I need to roll this out all the way until it stops before it trips out and goes stupid. Then I gotta unplug this from the wall. Here we go. Ready? Set. Missed it. Didn't want to unplug. Alright. Ready? I guess I can use this. Alright, that works. Test. Go. Test. Yeah. Okay. I need to re-engage the door. Whoopsies. Oops. It's breaking stuff. Figure out where the door needs to stop at. Okay. Oop. Almost knocked everything down here. Well, that's not really what I wanted to do, but okay. See, it works fine. Just dandy. Right there. Okay. Okay. So right now, this is our stop switch, like that. All right. So I'm gonna have to do this with the camera down. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. Kind of eyeballed the whole thing, but if it works, awesome. If not, shame on me. Okay, so let's see if she goes. Sure, she'll go up, but will she go back down? You see that thing that wheel that's clipped? See that? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I just clipped it back on. Okay, so that one works. Now the money shot. Will it trip the switch? Now, the new ones are much better. Hey, it worked. And it closed all the way. The new ones, they use optical switches and there's multiple redundancies in today's doors. These old ones are kind of a little arcane. Oh, here it comes. Okay, let's see if it goes back down. I almost fell. Oops. Let's see what we get. I'm shaking like a bastard. Perfect. Okay, my door works. Again. Yay. Alright. I just found out that if I go over to Lowe's, I can actually buy a garage door spring. I didn't know I could still buy those. So I may just put a spring on it and save the $500. Nah, I should just put in a whole new door. I still don't know what's up there, though. I'm not even joking, guys. I haven't gone up there yet. I still don't know. I've owned this house for what? We're on week 3, 4. I owned it for almost a month, and I still don't know what's up there. We'll get to it. I'm actually kind of nervous. There could be anything up there. Oh wait, those are the inside screwdrivers, I think. No, this one belongs out here. This one, that's belongs in the house. Okay, what's left out in this garage anyway? Got to clean this workbench off so I can use it. Got this recycling bin that I don't need, and still got the roofer stuff in here. Got some buckets, funnels, and oh, there's my saw. Got a lot of mouse leavings. Oh, my drill box. I think I need that. This is my heirloom table. I got some vinyl there. A screen house that I don't need. It came with the house. All right, I think that's going to call it for the day. Oh, I got some gas. Came with the house. I might be able to use that in my snowblower. Let's see if it's any good. Let's see what we got here. Oh my god, it smells like pure alcohol. Open it up. I mean, how old could it possibly be, right? Well, either way, I have to use it up. I don't care what it is. Oh my god. Is that two-stroke blend? Where's my screwdriver? Oh, shit. It smells like two-stroke blend. Looks like two-stroke blend. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's two-stroke. Tell you what I'm going to do. I got to get rid of it somehow. Turn off, yo. There we go. I'm going to put it in the snowblower. I got to get rid of it, guys. Maybe I'll do it with some good fuel. In other news, I actually got the wheel, the drive wheel for this. So that'll be maybe something I do tomorrow. I got a new drive wheel for this. Just came in the mail, so I'll be putting that in soon. I'm not going to put gas in it now because I'm going to be flipping it upside down. But anything I can do to burn up that gas? Because what's in this one? Ooh, this one's got real gas in it. Let's see. Let's see what's in this one. Could be real gas. Could be two-stroke. Could be grain alcohol. These fancy canisters. Oh yeah, this is good. It smells good. It doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell spoiled or anything. So I think what I might do is actually mix the two together, and I'll be able to get rid of the fuel in a clean and safe manner by burning it in my snowblower. Two-stroke's not going to hurt it that bad. Not really all that much anyway. And I won't have to buy gas for the snowblower. Win-win. And we'll get to this. We got to the clock. We know the clock works now. It's still ticking? Time's still ticking away. Let's take a look. I'm so happy. What the hell was that? Did something explode? All right then. Still going. So I think we'll proceed with the cleanup on this. I'll get some hands. Give me a hand. Give me a hand. Just run it up. She runs so pretty. Nice.